Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, back indoors for this one. That's a bit of a shame, isn't it? But as you probably know, well, I'm sure if you are in the UK you will know, if you're not in the UK you may know, that we're back under more strict lockdown restrictions in Britain at the moment, which is a shame. But it is what it is, we're not the only ones. Much of Northwest Europe is under similar restrictions. And what that has meant, other than me having to sit in the house and do this video, is that we've lost the penultimate round of the WRC, the Ypres Rally, and that has been cancelled rather inevitably after the cancellation of two other Belgian rallies in the last few weeks. It's disappointing because I think Ypres would have made a brilliant WRC event, but what can we do? It was coming, wasn't it? It was always going to happen. They'd already had to ban spectators, which they'd hoped to avoid, and then obviously we lost the event altogether. That's a shame, but it's just the way of the world at the moment, isn't it? Just the way of the world. So that leaves us with one touchwood round left. The Monza Rally next month. I hope that goes ahead, but I wouldn't guarantee it. I'd probably only give it a 50-50 shot, and unfortunately I think the rally going ahead is the big deciding factor in who wins the championship this year. It puts the power in the hands of Elfyn Evans and Scott Martin in the Toyota. They have a 14-point lead and really only need to finish fourth, power stage points depending, to win the championship. Ogier has the next best hope, but it's difficult event for him because I think the Hyundais of Thierry Neuville and Oitanak, whilst out of the Drivers' Championship essentially, are going to be going hard in order to make sure that they secure the manufacturer's titles for Hyundai. So it's Evans to lose. He's just got to go there and score points, hasn't he? But yeah, so that's a shame. I don't want to dwell on that though this week really, because we've got a bit of time left to talk about Monza and all the championship permutations as all of that unfolds in the coming weeks. But I will say I really hope it does go ahead, and that Evans gets his chance and hopefully gets the opportunity to jump out of the car at the end of the rally, jump up onto the roof and celebrate with Scott Martin for what has been a fantastic year. So let's see, that's a waiting game, isn't it? The first thing I want to talk about other than that is this rather lovely t-shirt. Let me stand up. Here it is. Look at that. This is cool for two reasons. Firstly, because it's a t-shirt with a Peugeot 306 Maxi on it, and I mean that's just cool, isn't it? Secondly, because I'm happy to announce that the makers of this t-shirt, Miles and Miles, who I will tag in this video, are offering you lovely people a 5% discount if you use the link that I will be posting in my bio on Instagram or in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube, so look down there, or if you're on Instagram, maybe up there. But it's cool, isn't it? So if you use that link, which you will be able to access, and use the discount code start again, maximum attack, you'll get 5% off, which is pretty cool, isn't it? And there's also this. Look at this, it's like a fashion show, isn't it? A terrible, badly organised fashion show. I like this. I had to buy this when I saw it. You can't rally a house, but you can live in a car. That's good, isn't it? So they've got lots of cool stuff. Obviously rally things for me, which I like, so I have bought some. I wasn't given it, by the way, I will just say that. I do have to buy stuff from them. I'm not one for big endorsements, but I just thought it was quite cool that they offered this discount, and that means that you get a discount. That's cool, isn't it? And they do lots of cool rally stuff. They do lots of cool car stuff generally, obviously clothes, as you see here, but some other things as well, wall art and things. So do have a look. As I say, I will tag them in this. Use the link that will be in my bio by the time you are watching this, and use the discount code maximum attack, and you get 5% off. That's cool. Anyway, moving away from that, I want to talk about Hyundais again. I did that before, didn't I? Was it last week? Might have been last week. Slightly different topic though. What I want to talk about is Hayden Paddon and Hyundai, because I think what Hayden Paddon has very cleverly done is change the world. You might think I'm overstating it a little bit, but I think he's changed the world. So what we've seen this week is the unveiling of his all-electric rally car. I know a lot of you will hear those words, all-electric rally car, and at best yawn, at worst scream at your phone or whatever you're watching this on, or stop watching altogether. But I think the reality that we all have to face, and that me as a petrol head am not that excited about in some respects, but I think we do have to face it, is that electric cars are here and they're not going anywhere, and that I think electric rally cars are an inevitability. So I think what we've actually seen is that Hayden Paddon and a very small, albeit very professional team in New Zealand, with help from the guys at Stoll who've been behind the electric rallycross cars, have done something rather special, and they've created this car within 18 months that demoed this was announced fully, unveiled fully in the last few weeks, and they've created something massively important. Because while the FIA, and I'm not going to rant about this for once, the FIA well, I am a little bit, but I'm going to try not to rant about it, while the FIA are still arguing about what hybrids are going to be and going to do and when they're actually going to happen. I mean, they're determined to make it happen, but there's some discord there, I think. While they're doing that, not particularly well, in my view, and the view of a lot of other people, what Paddon Rally Sport have done is just got on with it and built not something on that level. They've built something 2-3 steps down the road. They've built something that's not now, it's the future. And I think that's to be congratulated. They are to be congratulated for that, because that is a huge, monumental thing. And what will be even bigger still is if, as they intend, by the end of next year, they have that car in a place where it can compete on 1 or 2 day rallies in New Zealand and potentially win them. So the car itself, as it sits, has the potential to put out some silly amount of performance, 800 kilowatts, whatever that even means. A lot. That's a lot. That's like 10 times more than something. I don't know. It's a lot. I'm not very good at kilowatts mean nothing to me. I'm sorry if you are very metric and use kilowatts, but they mean nothing to me. But it's a lot. But I mean, that while that performance will be very impressive, and I'm sure they'll play with it, what is going to be important is creating or having that car set up in such a way that it can deliver similar performance to an R5 car or an AP4 car and compete throughout a 1 day event or a 2 day event and be charged and run using infrastructure available on a typical rally or close to that infrastructure. I mean, what that to me is probably going to be the most fundamental shift the sport has seen since it was invented. I think since rally started, that is the biggest shift we will have ever seen. So I think it's fascinating. Even me, Luddite, who likes this sort of thing, not my stomach, the car, and this sort of thing, I think it's absolutely fascinating. Not just because it's an electric rally car and it's going to be really interesting to see what it does, how it performs, how fast it goes, how well it handles, how well the aero works, and how it compares to a R5 or AP4 car. But I think what's also fascinating is this small team, this small outfit under Hayden, has done something that, as I say, is 2 or 3 steps down the road compared to what the FIA are, frankly, buggering about with. So I think that's massive. You may not like it, and I know a lot of rally fans, much to my annoyance at times, spend a lot of time looking backwards and looking at the past, but this does represent the future, at least in the medium term. So I think we have to be, on some level, you have to be excited by it. And also you have to be incredibly impressed by what Hayden and his team have done. So for me, I think that represents one of the biggest stories at the moment. Yes, I mean, goings on in the WRC in terms of will we have events, will we not have events, and when will we have hybrid cars, who will build hybrid cars, will Hyundai remain. I think what Hayden and his team are doing is staggeringly impressive. I think it asks some very big questions of the FIA and their approach. It asks some very big questions of the sport generally. I think it finally puts us in a position where we can actually put our hands up for once and say, look what we're doing, look at the advances that we are making, even though it's being done by what is effectively a privateer, albeit with some manufacturer support in Hyundai New Zealand. So I think that's amazing, and I think we should all be very excited, very interested in following it very, very closely indeed, even if some of us are a bit sceptical about electric cars. I think, having seen the footage of the car, it sounds kind of like most other electric cars, doesn't it? It kind of makes a whirry noise. They are talking about sound generators, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out and what they can do with that, and what path they choose to go down. Do they go down the route of trying to make it sound like an internal combustion car, which for me is a bit of a weird thing to do, because I mean, it's not an internal combustion car, so why try and make it sound like one? I think if you look at what some road car manufacturers are doing, I think Porsche, particularly with the Taycan, have created something that actually sounds a bit better than you would expect. So I think it'll be interesting to see, because I think sound, as much as we all know, sound is such a critical part of why we love cars and why we love motorsport. I think you need a bit of noise. So that's very interesting. But I don't want to focus on that too much, because I think the important thing is how the car actually works and how it performs. But I think for now, I think we just have to congratulate Paddon and his very small team for really doing what they've done, for potentially transforming the sport and actually making it into something that could be sustainable for much longer, and actually creating something. For the first time, I saw an electric car, saw the onboards and saw Hayden driving it in a demo video, and thought that could still be fun. So we'll see, won't we? But anyway, I'm going to wrap up there. This is a bit shorter than usual, but I just wanted to talk about that. I didn't want to talk too much about the WRC because we're in a little bit of a pause. I think there's going to be time to talk about Monza, depending on how things pan out, but touch wood, Monza will happen. But yes, so congratulations, Hayden, well done. I think you've done an amazing thing. Last little thing before I do wrap up is this weekend we had Hungary's round of the European Rally Championship, which was won by Andreas Mikkelsen in a Skoda, I believe, as I record this, which was really good. There's a few goings on in terms of penalties that have made the ERC battle look a bit more interesting, whilst Craig Breen was there in the MRF backed I-20, but had some dramas whilst being in amongst it, which was a bit of a shame, but worth a catch up with anyway, because rallying is something that we don't have a lot of going on at the moment. So if you get a chance to catch up with that and watch it, I would. But I will stop there. I will share more about this, not me, but this shirt and the hoodie and things in the coming days. I would urge you to have a look at Miles and Miles website. I'm not going to keep plugging them relentlessly, because that's not really what I believe in. I don't want this to turn into an advertorial channel, so please don't worry, I'm not going to relentlessly plug them and other people, but I just thought it was cool and gives you the opportunity to potentially buy some cool gear at a bit of a reduced price. So do have a look and check them out. Buy this t-shirt because it's the coolest t-shirt I've ever seen, especially if you like Peugeot 306s, which I do, so I'm totally into that. But yes, so check them out, but rest assured I'm not going to just relentlessly plug things. That's not what I'm about. Hopefully I'm hoping to bring you some more car related stuff in the coming weeks, but lockdown has thrown that out of the window a little bit for now. But there is something Italian in the pipeline with Martini livery. I'm sure you can guess what that might be, but stay tuned. I am working on something really cool with that. But thanks for watching. Please, if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe and share. Similarly, if you're on Facebook or Instagram, like, share, all the usual stuff. Thanks for watching.